What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. And whichever platforms you're listening to this on, I want to let you know I really do appreciate it. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for being subscribed. But if you are not, please do go ahead and subscribe to the platforms. And if you are listening to this on YouTube while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation/reality chat. And this is about Martellholt's failed attempt at gaining full custody and child support. We all believe that the reason he was seeking to get full custody of the children that he had with Melody, and mind you, he didn't try to seek custody of the child that he had with the chick outside of his marriage. He wanted to get full custody of the children that he had with Melody. So we all know that the reason had nothing to do with Melody being incapable of taking care of the children and raising the children, because they currently have joint custody. That was the order as it was before he brought this lawsuit against her and tried to seek full custody. So it was just a huge slap in the face for him to try to do that, and with him being on Love and Marriage Huntsville and showcasing his narcissistic ways and views and acting as if his looks, which in my personal opinion, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but in my personal opinion, I see nothing attractive about him. Nothing. Everybody has their own views on that. And I've seen some people's comments where it's like, girl, okay, whatever. I just don't see how people see anything attractive about him at all. At all. Not just because of how he's treated Melody, but that actually makes him, in my opinion, people like that, I believe that the inward spirit, it does cast a shadow on the outer appearance. So in my view, the way I see people, I'm just speaking for myself, the way I see people, I don't see anything attractive about someone that is a despicable person. So that's just me. I don't see how people do that, but I get it. Some people are more natural than they are spiritual. I'm more spiritual. So when I view people, it's just something that reflects on the outer appearance when they have a dark spirit and a dark soul that really makes them literally look unattractive. So with that being said, he's been all about the superficial. He has never been about the family or the children, but he talks the talk, but he does not walk the walk. Everything that he does with the children when he's doing the little videos and things like that on social media, it's to try to portray himself as being this upstanding father. Upstanding fathers, I don't care how much money they may bring into the household, which apparently he wasn't doing much of that, and that's been proven. Upstanding fathers don't neglect their household and negate the vows that they made with their spouse for the sake of getting some nookie on the outside because they say that their wife ain't giving it up as often as they want it. And I've never been in their bedroom, never want to be there, never wanted to be there. But I honestly believe that Melody, even though she may have been tired, didn't feel like it, she was giving it up more often than she wanted to in the marriage to him, because the proof is in the pudding. They have 4 children. They have 4 children and probably may have possibly been pregnant more times than that. I'm just saying, and I know every time someone is doing it with their spouse, it doesn't mean you're going to get pregnant all the time. But I believe that with all the work that she was doing while she was married to him, having all of the children, you are tired. And someone as selfish as him would see it as selfish of her to say, I've been working all day, I've been taking care of the kids, I am tired, as him saying, well, you're not fulfilling your wifely duties. Screw you and go screw somebody else. And he did. And that's why she left him. And so with those things being said, he tried to come back at her to seek full custody. But it was never going to work because, one, he didn't have the money to handle a situation like this with attorneys and with the court, because they say only a fool represents themselves in court. And yeah, he is a fool, but even he didn't try to do that. So it's been reported that this recent hearing for the custody case, he didn't show up. And I previously talked about that. Well, we didn't really know exactly what all the details were with that, but it's being reported that the joint custody ruling stands and he does not get any child support, which is something that he was seeking. So, I'm not surprised. I did not expect him to win, but sometimes you never really know what happens when you're in court. But because he didn't show up, that means that there was no way that they could rule in his favor. But he already knew that the chips were stacked against him. He probably, like I said before, did not have the money to pay his attorney, so they were not going to show up. And so, well, several people on YouTube, they've made videos about it, and they've said that Melody's cousin posted on Facebook that they're happy that child support is off the table. The person posted, she's very happy that the custody agreement remains the same and no child support was ordered. So we are extremely happy this part is over. So I don't know in terms of when it says this part is over, if they think something else could be coming up. But in my personal viewpoint, I believe that it's over because he was already on the show on the first episode of this latest season, complaining about how much the legal fees were and just saying that he wasn't happy about the way things were happening in court with regard to the child custody case. And it really baffles me that he's wasted time, energy, efforts, and money that he really didn't have to play in court and not invest that time, money, energy in getting some skills, getting your builder's license, passing that test so that you can get your builder's license. Or like I've said on several occasions, I know Home Depot is hiring. I know Home Depot is hiring. Go and get a regular job. I don't understand what it is about these people who get on these shows and they feel that they are too good to work a regular job. He wanted to create a wine, a product to sell to the public. And the majority of the people that he was trying to convince to purchase his products were women. And a lot of women can't stand him because of how he treated his ex-wife and his children that he tried to seek full custody of. And the fact of the matter is, he never wanted to have custody of those kids. He never wanted that. The fact that he never tried to seek custody of the child that he had with the side chick, which, is she even a side chick anymore? Because he's playing around in this pseudo fake relationship with Sheree for television, for Love and Marriage Huntsville views and for Real Housewives of Atlanta views. I'm going to probably do a separate conversation just talking about that itself. But when it comes to this custody battle that he tried to play, you may have started the battle, but Melody won the war. You did not get the child support that you sought. You definitely never wanted to have custody of the children, because if you really, really, really wanted that, he would have showed up. He would have showed up. Even if he didn't think that he was going to win, he would have showed up. Or he would have asked for an extension of time, or saying, I need time to get another attorney, or I don't have representation anymore and I'm going to be representing myself. Can I get an extension? No, he just didn't show up. He just defaulted on the whole thing. So that just goes to prove most people's views and opinions on this situation is that he really was only in it for a check. Just like he's only doing this Love and Marriage Huntsville show for a check. And the thing that drives me nuts about these so-called reality shows, which I do believe a lot of them are not 100% based on reality. I get that at this point in time. They're just less expensive to produce than scripted shows where you have to hire actual legitimate actors and actresses. But nothing about Martell's life is real right now. You're not a successful person. The show was based on married couples who were trying to come together. They had it called the Comeback Group, to create homes and, build communities so that people of color, that, people call them, could have homes to purchase and just really bring more value to the Huntsville areas that are not developed. That's what I thought it was about. But now you've got these separate couples that are doing their own individual things, which they all should be doing their own individual things as couples. But Martell and Melody are no longer married. And I get it. It brings views to the show to, show them battling and going back and forth with each other. But in my honest opinion, I really don't want to see that. I really don't. I'm not saying that Melody doesn't deserve to be on the show anymore. That's not what I'm saying, because ultimately it was her idea and her creation. So do that. Even though it's a little bit different than what was presented to Carlos King, but yet and still she pitched the idea and Martell was just along for the ride. I don't believe he deserves to be on reality TV anymore. I just really don't. I really believe that he needs a real reality check. He needs to be dropped, and he needs to be able to go and get a job. If you're too ashamed to be on television and work a regular job where they can show up at Home Depot where you're loading the lumber on the decks, or you're helping people load their grills to their trucks, or you're helping people find the whatever on aisle 12, then you don't need to be on TV. Go and find yourself, go and get delivered, like Andrew Caldwell said, by the Lord, and become a better man. But his pride and his narcissism is not going to allow him to do that. So he was trying to not only get full custody of the children and child support, allegedly he wanted a share of the profits of the product that Melody created that was based on their youngest daughter's hair, a hair product line. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And trying to claim that the reason he was seeking that and child support was he wanted to be able to have the children have the same type of lifestyle when they're with him that they get when they're with their mom. Well, if you can't give it to them, then they don't need to be around you. Maybe you need supervised visitation versus joint custody. Because I'm just going to be honest, guys, and this is just my opinion. I don't feel that Martell really is all there. I just believe that there's something off about this guy. And in my opinion, he looks a bit dangerous to me. I've spoken about this before, but in my personal opinion, I believe he comes across a bit sociopathic-like. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that he is a sociopath, but I feel like he has some sociopathic tendencies. We have not seen this episode yet, but there's a clip of him showing up somewhere that Melody was having. I don't know if it was a birthday party for one of the children or it was some type of event. And she's saying to him, Martell, please leave. Don't let me have to contact the police and have you escorted out of this private event. And it takes me back to when she was on a date. She was already separated from him, going through the divorce. And he shows up to where she is and he's recording her. He's recording her and the guy at the table. I don't know if they were at lunch or breakfast or what, because they looked like they were dressed pretty casual. And they both they're like, this is really happening right now. And Melody and the guy, they both get up and they're leaving. But she wasn't with him anymore. It wasn't like she was married to him and she said, hey, babe, I'm going to the office or I'm going to the store, whatever. I'll be back in a few hours. And he felt like she was cheating on him. And so he had her followed and found her and busted her. She wasn't even with him anymore. And he did that. So I will never forget that. And I'm just saying, for someone to go to these lengths and go through these motions to try to get something that he never really had a snowball's chance in hell of getting, to me comes off a bit sociopathic-like. And in my opinion, I believe that he's a bit dangerous and off. So I don't know if Melody needs security. She may already have it for all we know. And I wouldn't blame her, because this guy, all he does is have nothing but time to go into the gym and lift weights, instead of putting some knowledge in his brain by reading books and studying and getting an education, being able to pass your builder's license test so you can get your builder's license. Or, like I said, just going and applying at Home Depot or Lowe's and getting a job there. Start your way from, where they hire you and work your way up. Maybe you can become a manager of the store. But I'm saying there is nothing wrong with working and getting an honest living versus looking like a Dusty who's trying to live off of your ex-wife and getting child support. You look so ridiculous. And courts need to stop doing stuff like this, where I know that there's a lot of women that don't like the typical stereotypes and standards and practices that have been around for a long time. I get all of that. But with some of these men who have tried to flip the script to get alimony and child support off of a woman, I just feel that just makes you look so entirely small. And there's nothing man-like about any man that would do that to a woman. And especially when the man was the one that was unfaithful and stepped out. And that's why he tried to spin it and tried to make it seem like Melody was cheating on him too. And that was not true. It was a lie. It was all a lie. He did not want to accept personal responsibility. He only started speaking some things about missing the marriage or missing Melody or, wanting to be married again and all of that other stuff, because he was trying to play on the sympathies and emotions of women, because he was doing it for marketing purposes, because he wanted people to purchase his wine. But I believe that was a failed launch. I don't hear anybody talking about the iNest wine product, which some people said is nothing but Sutter Home or another wine product. And they just have it repackaged and relabeled as his product and trying to sell it for 5 times more than what it should be selling for. It was just absolutely insane. But he just felt like he could do what Melody did. And if you want to be a woman, you're really kind of looking that way, but you're not looking like a woman. You're really looking like a pathetic bitch. And I'm sorry, I just have to put it out there like I see it. I don't usually even speak that way, but that's really what it's looking like. A pathetic bitch. Or like Diddy used to say, bitch assness. And he lives in that. That's his MO. So I'm so happy to hear that Melody has reason to celebrate. And it's amazing to me that he really thought that somehow, some way, he was going to win custody, but he got the full picture and got that inkling that, I don't think this is going to go in my favor. People like that, they don't like to lose. So instead of showing up for the loss, he just decided not to show up at all. But you still lost, and everybody is going to remind you of that. So I'm sure this is not the last we will hear about this, but I just wanted to talk about it real quick. And guys, you let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section. So thank you so much for liking and subscribing. This is Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.